to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
I love doing that to Ant, and he's gonna get so mad, and I just do it on purpose. I'm gonna eventually have to stop doing that because he's, gonna say what the hell. But and I promise, eventually I'll stop doing the hard cuts. So anyway, it is Saturday night, July 29th. We are here at the Mark Order doing a little special watch along for AEW Collision. You got myself, Ryan, and along with me, Asian Joe. How you doing, Asian Joe?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on tonight to do a little watch along. I have my Hartford Whalers shirt on tonight, so I'm ready for Connecticut. And also, to make Brian feel more at home, I have a Phillies hat I found.
Do you have a? I mean, support it, but why do you have a Phillies hat?
I can't pass up a good deal on a hat, so I found it for I think $8 at Burlington or TJ Maxx or something like that, and it's a new era fitted hat. So I'm like, $8 sold.
That's fair. That's fair. I got my Flyers hat. We are kind of matching. I'm in a champion shirt, but it's still blue, so we are kind of matching.
We are colliding hard tonight.
Rob Humphreys is confused. He's asking what the hell is happening. Rob, we're colliding. That's what's happening. We have worlds colliding. Ann is out at, I believe, a rave. He's raving. Kate is out. I honestly don't know what Kate does when she's not podcasting.
Is she never not podcasting?
That's what I mean. I think she just goes into like hibernation in between times.
Even when she
like
takes nature walks, I think she's podcasting in her head.
Yeah, I think she goes into like one of those hyperbolic chambers where like they freeze her and then she comes out. And that's what I think she does in between. So here we are, myself and Asian Joe. Obviously a few minutes before Collision starts, but I didn't want to start right on Collision because that's just awkward. So any matches you're looking forward to the most?
I mean, I don't remember all the ones that are on the card tonight. I think it's so much dominated with the tag team match that I'm really just looking forward to that, and also like what evolves from those storylines, and then also the Punk and Starks angle. Want to see how that continues to develop. So those are the two main things. Obviously, I think that's probably what most people are looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the card myself. I think the tag match is like you said, that's got everyone's big where everyone's attention is. And then we have another big one is Buddy Matthews and Andre El Idolo in their ladder match. I think that's because I think we're gonna see the whatchamacallit, not the reform for formation at LFI because they've been together, but like they're gonna come back out with Andrade. I guess is what I'm blanking on the trade, but Andrade has been sitting on the sideline, so I guess they're coming back out.
Yeah, I think that had a sneaky good potential to be match of the night between those two.
See what my computer's freaking out. I'm trying not to have it freak out. Stop freaking. It'll be fine.
Meanwhile, I'm watching Star Wars finish up.
I love I mean, I'm always good with that.
Reunion. That's a good word to use, Gordon. Reunion.
Yeah, Gordon has the yes. That is the word to use. It is sorry, I'm trying to do two things before we start, but yeah, reunion is the word because Andrade's was the start, and then he had his issues, and he stepped away, and Roosh stepped in and realistically ran that thing perfectly.
Yeah,
he had absolutely no no issue. I think he fit perfectly in with what with running the group. I actually think in some ways he was a little bit better of a leader than when Andrade was there. But I think that's because Andrade wasn't. It didn't feel like Andrade was as just on screen. I'm not talking backstage, but on screen, Andrade just didn't feel like the group was his focus. And I think that was also intentional. I think at the time Andrade was supposed to be like all about himself, and now,
Yeah,
you know, and now
always that,
and Roosh was group.
there's always that kind of weird uncertainty, whether professional or personal, of like what Andrade was up to, or what his plans were, his commitment, and it just felt like, you know, it kind of feels like when you watch a TV show, and let's say you're in season 9 and the cast are in, like, there might be some cast members who are in contract disputes, so you don't know, like, are they going to end this series now, or is it going to keep going? Because depending on what these characters do, and with Andrade, we're kind of like, well, no, is he happy? Does he want to, like, sit at home? Does he want to be a part of AEW? And I think, having him kind of reaffirm his commitment to Collision and really, come back strong, makes me want to care more about LGI.
LFI.
Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. Wrong alphabet letters. My fault.
I would have went with LFO personally. That's where my mind goes. But yeah, this is going to be fun. I mean, let me tell you something. It's going to be interesting to see who they choose as their third for. I guess it's going to be Preston Vance, but they also have blanking on the guy that they bring in around for their team. But they're clearly going to need a third, and those matches are going to just be bang. Oh my god, Andrade Roosh and Preston Vance versus Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. I mean, you're looking. That is a series.
Like, you have Preston Vance and Brody, who are the big bruisers, and then the other guys can kind of match up with size and skill. So I think it's a really nice rivalry to have going or setting.
Yeah. So I actually invited their guest just because it does help us. So now joining us is Bread Panda enthusiast, BR_Dr. Chris Mueller. How you doing, Chris?
What's up, guys?
You got all the apps fixed? You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm just watching Obi-Wan give some babies away.
They couldn't. That's not a great hiding space. It's always kind of been like, what were you thinking?
I mean, I thought they gave it like a halfway decent explanation in the Obi-Wan show, but it is still like, why would you try to hide him on like his own home? Like,
maybe it's reverse psychology. Name.
Like, what if he got nostalgic one day and decided, like, I'm gonna go back to that place where my mom died?
Mm-hmm. And he has your name. God forbid somehow it gets out that there's a Skywalker on Tatooine. He might be curious. Doc, I see that AEW's filed for what might be a streaming service. Are you the one setting up all the apps for that?
I wish I knew more about that.
I think you're running the app personally.
I think, I don't know. I really think they should have tried. I mean, maybe they did, but I think being on Max would have been more beneficial to them, because it already has so many people subscribed. They have to build from zero if they have their own,
Yeah, that's true. So my question is, I'll go Joe and then Chris. Would you rather them keep Honor Club separate or just integrate it in if they made a new service?
I would probably just integrate it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, I don't think people want to pay for both, so that would be.
Yeah, and I imagine just to streamline operations and maintenance of everything too.
I mean, it's bad enough that I'm already paying for Peacock and Honor Club. Don't want to pay for a third thing just for pro wrestling.
Rob Humphreys is saying something, and Chris, I don't know, Joe, if you had heard, but I think Chris might have better. I heard that Warner Brothers said that it's going to be a long time before they had Max ready to handle live events. Either of you heard that?
I don't know, but part of that might also be because they have the Bleacher Report app if they want it for sports.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of reason you. I mean, I guess you'd want to do it because, you want to do it because it's streaming service rather than pay for pay per view. But if you want pay per view, you have Bleacher Report. But you would think they could just integrate one to the other.
I mean, technically, Bleacher Report is a streaming service because you can go in there and rewatch all the old shows.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, how can Max not be ready if you already have the technology with Bleacher Report?
I don't know. See, I have no idea about I'm not actually an IT guy, so I don't know anything about.
Don't lie to us.
Yeah, I don't know anything about how any of that integrating technology works. It's possible that the way Max is set up, it just wouldn't be able to take the bandwidth or something. I don't know.
That's true. I mean, I don't know enough about it. Joe, I don't know if you have any experience like the IT streaming side of things.
I don't. I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't want to try to get Max up and running for live event streaming, especially for boxing pay-per-views or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that'd be like a selling point for Max? It's like, hey, you could come watch. I mean, I know, like, what's weird is, I guess it's technically not live, but like when there's an HBO show, if it starts at 9, it's on the service at 9. I don't know. I'm now so out of my wheelhouse, I won't even try.
But luckily, you're opening up with Buddy and Andrade, so you can put your focus on that now.
That's very, very true. And Julia Hart is actually such a great addition to this group. She provides like a menacingness that I don't understand how she does it, but she does.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, her character work has been really great. I mean, if some of the other younger female wrestlers could do some of the character work she does, they could really have a superstar in the young women's division.
You're right. That's actually one of the things I think they need to try on more is given their women who aren't like focused on TV, somehow get them to get some character across, because it's just a struggle.
I think Sky Blue's pretty solid in the ring at her young age, but I don't feel like she has like character work like some of the as far as Julia does or emotes in the ring.
It's a real true. I'm stuck on Andrade's walkout gear. Very different than what he typically comes out in, if I'm not mistaken.
Almost looks like United Empire.
It does. Is this brand new? Has you worn this anywhere else?
I haven't seen it.
Joe?
Interesting. No, not here. Not in AEW or interesting. I'm not mad at it.
No, it's cool gear, but it's just so different than his typical, walkout. And you have Buddy Matthews just all muscle. Why would you care about Julia Hart? She's not gonna do anything to you.
Man, his gear is just different in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got almost like a Diesel style gear on. Am I wrong?
No, that definitely has a bit of that vibe to it. With all the
if
leather.
If the middle came up a little bit more, I think we'd be seeing Diesel.
I'll take it over his tearaway pants.
Gordon is saying he had suspenders in WWE. I do remember that, but not this style.
Right.
Buddy went under the ladder. It's bad luck. That was neat. Oh, this is going to be insane. Yikes.
I wish I could be that brave to just take leaps of faith.
Well, what makes it crazier is look how close the ladder was behind Buddy Matthews. Like a little farther back, and they're crashing into the ladder behind them. Listen, all things aside, he's so good at this thing.
Oh yeah.
He's one of. But like I was saying before, Chris, you weren't in. I was saying to Joe, I liked Rush as leader of LFI a little bit more. I think Rush was more about the group, where Andrade's character always seemed to be more about Andrade.
I actually said recently, Andrade does not need LFI or Jose. Like, he should just be on his own, in my opinion. I think he's more interesting when he's the only focal point.
That's very true. He doesn't. His character has never been like a group guy. Like he's always been I'm about. His character's always been I'm about me. Doing it. Oh, nice kick to the throne. Ooh.
Just a lot of black in that ring with the attire, the ladders.
I will say that Andrade's choice of attire for this match is not my favorite in the sense of just for this match, because it is House of Black style gear. Whereas his white suit pants made it a very big clash of looks.
Oh yeah,
Kate would be losing her mind. She hates when wrestlers have like matchy gear.
I don't like when opponents look like they could be tag team partners,
Right.
for sure.
Yep.
I actually said that about when Claudio and Kenny both started Blood and Guts. I'm like, they're both wearing blue and silver pants. Like, they look like they should be fighting together, not against each other.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's the black's a little bit more forgiving on, especially matches like this, only because it's such a standard color. But you're right, when they like that, the Blood and Guts colors, or you see it all the time now a lot. Like, there go the suspenders. Why did you even keep them on?
If Andrade had any red in his gear, it would bother me more than it is right now.
Yeah.
Because then he would really match Buddy.
So Gordon Post in chat says this is the first time in a long time that he can remember a ladder match doesn't involve a title or like a contract for a title. And I kind of agree. Am I missing anything? Is there any ladder match?
Face of the Revolution, like that? Is that the last one?
But that has you can get a title contract out of that.
Oh.
Like he's saying nothing in this match involves a title at all.
Right.
I don't mind when they do ladder matches and things of that nature for non-title things.
I don't think he's complaining. I think he's just saying it.
Oh, yeah. I like when they find a reason to make something that's not a title into a stipulation like this, actually.
When's the last one you can remember, though? Like, I can't remember the last time they've done this. Anyone. It doesn't have to be AEW, obviously. Yeah. Anyone. I can't.
I feel like WWE had a ladder match with something else above the ring that wasn't Money in the Bank or a title not that long ago.
Well, they had the Miz briefcase of money.
I thought it was something. I thought there was something else at one point, though.
I mean, Gordon goes way back in the day with the Eddie and Ray dominant custody, but no, the money, the physical money for the ladder match, that's something different, and they did that. Recently.
Yeah, that's right. They did do a money ladder match, which used to be way more common back in the day. Like ladder matches for sacks of cash was kind of a common thing in the South.
Actually,
Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
No, you go, Joe. You.
I was just thinking like all the old school, like something on a pole match, right?
Oh God, all the pole matches. You had what was it? Flags on a pole, chain on a pole.
Judy Bagwell.
on a forklift. Let's be fair. You had so many weapons on a pole.
Well, no one wants their mother on a pole. Come on.
Well, then there's the flag match, which is just a flag on a pole.
You have don't you have to, do you have to grab the flag or put it on pole? Like take it off or put it on?
You have to take it off.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
playing
I couldn't
capture the
remember.
flag.
Vince Russo single-handedly killed the pole matches because you can't do them now without people being like Vince Russo. You know,
Oh.
I'm still mad at his quote about wrestling,
Maybe
where he said, "If you're."
Maybe you should propose it to Billy Corgan. Maybe he'll bring him back.
If anyone would, it'd be him. Fox News appearance on a pole match. I'm mad at Vince Russo because the other day he said something like, you know, there's too much wrestling anymore. You know, they don't do the talking to build up to the match. You're supposed to talk to build up. You know, I wouldn't care if they called it something other than pro wrestling, but this isn't pro wrestling. Like, you're complaining that there's too much wrestling in pro wrestling. I think you've lost the plot.
Right. Like, I don't know. Pro wrestling to me has evolved so much to where AEW and WWE feel like two completely different types of products, and yet they're both pro wrestling to me.
Yeah, but that's the beauty, that you don't watch the same product.
Well, right, exactly. Like, why would I want every wrestling show to feel the same? Like, I love that ROH is a wrestling heavy show because it feels different from the storytelling in AEW WWE, and then AEW is kind of like a middle ground between the two.
Yeah.
Well, if you look back at the territories, it used to be that way too. Like WWE was always WWE, but like if you look back at some of the great stories told in the NWA or Crockett, they weren't like, there were stories, but it was always like, oh yeah, they did like a 5-second like interview and then it was all match related.
Right, like they'd occasionally run a little angle like, oh, so and so attacked so and so in the parking lot, so now next week they're gonna fight. Or you know, Jerry Lawler hit on so and so's wife, so now they're gonna fight. Like, it was always just reason to fight and then fight. That was the extent of a storyline back then.
And that works for me.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all rooted in pro wrestling and just different presentations, it's like any other thing of, you know, we all like different fast food hamburgers, but
Right, but sometimes, you know, like, I don't mind a little nonsense like R-Truth and Carmella running around with the 24/7 title. Like,
oh, that was great. No,
like,
I'm all for
yeah. I like the variety.
That's to me the greatest thing about having like at least 3 different viable wrestling companies right now between AEW, WWE, and Impact, because ROH is AEW. You know, you have 3 pretty different feeling products that you can watch any of them if you really want to. I'm not counting NWA. I just refuse. And MLW, every time I think they're doing something I like, they seem to get in their own way. So
yeah, and I can't get into GCW.
I don't like death matches.
When you talked about variety, do you prefer your variety all in like one show, or when you say variety, are you talking about different promotions and having different varieties per promotion?
Actually, like,
both really, but promotions was what I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about promotions, but I'm with Chris on both. Like, if you watch AEW, WWE, or Impact, all 3 feel different. Like, you don't confuse one for the other ever watching those shows. But within Impact, you can't really say this too because they only have the one show a week. But for AEW and WWE, well, we'll go AEW. Collision and Dynamite feel very different from each other. So, like, that's a lot of fun too. WWE right now, actually, I'd say Raw and SmackDown feel pretty different. Sometimes they float them too close to each other, and I don't like that. But when the Raw and SmackDown feel different, I love it. We have a table. We just need a chair, and we have a TLC match. Like, I don't think, and this isn't a knock on them. This isn't me being like, oh, AEW is better than WWE, because, but like WWE wouldn't start with this match on a week on a television show. They might at pay-per-view, but not a television show. It's just not how they outline their shows. So this is a lot of fun that there's a program out there that this is what you start with.
Yeah, AEW does not mind putting what would normally be the quote-unquote main event first. In fact, on Rampage, it's almost like the tradition.
I mean, you almost have to on Rampage because the only time people watch is right at like 10.
Yeah. God, these guys are beating the hell out of each other. I love it.
Yeah, these two are awesome. What's he pointing to? Oh, God. I asked what he's pointing to, and then I realized the ladder's in the other ladder. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want to see this. I'll be honest. These spots make me uncomfortable.
I just don't like heights.
Well, plus, with the way Buddy is situated, you can tell he's getting ready to move out of the way.
He's already moved, thank God. It means something bad's still going to happen. But yeah, I don't like heights. And ladders, they're unpredictable. Like, they're metal. Like, it's unpredictable.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there like 3 or 4 years ago one of the ladder spots in WWE where the ladder bent after somebody was like splashed through it or whatever? Didn't somebody actually get cut by one of the bent pieces of metal?
Yes. Who was it? Sheamus?
It might have been. I don't think he had to leave the match. I just remember seeing a cut like across his back and being like, oh, that's definitely from the ladder. Sheamus has been cut open and bruised and things so many times it's hard to keep track. That dude, I love Sheamus. That dude just goes out there and goes for it every time. He's so good.
And it's funny because if I remember correctly, and I could be remembering wrong, early on in his career, he did not seem like he'd be this guy.
No, they positioned him as another like powerhouse kind of, not like a Cena babyface, but a Cena type of wrestler that only used a few moves. And I remember they pushed him really quick and it kind of turned people against him for a little while, but he's really proven himself.
He's awesome.
The bar was what I think turned a lot of people around and made them realize like, oh, he's actually really good.
Yeah, I think it was the time people realized he, like, given the chance, meaning not like just like, holy shit. That was a cool knee off the ladder. I think people realized with the bar that there's 7 match series before they formed the bar. I think people realized if you just let him team up with another good wrestler to go at it matches, if you let let me rephrase it, if you let Sheamus off the leash, he can perform.
Right.
Been a lot of handcuffs in AEW lately.
Right.
Yeah. I have noticed that too.
Oh, look at Cher.
At least they know. There you go. TLC, baby. At least this time they know how to use the handcuffs. I think it was Jericho and them on Adam Cole, I should say. They didn't know how to use the handcuffs and they handcuffed him wrong.
That was bad.
Bonnie's so good too.
How did he get out?
Yeah, he got the key.
I think Julia had the key. I think she was taunting him, wasn't she?
Yeah.
That's a nice souvenir for somebody.
It is. I'm sorry. They have bolt cutters just waiting. She can't figure out how to use them.
Is she going to
Can't
be
do it.
strong enough to do it? It's not easy to do that.
No. Yeah, Julia was taunting Andrade, and that's how he got the key originally. Okay, this is kind of cool.
Well, that ladder's too short.
Is it?
I feel like it is.
That mask is not up high though. Oh, I don't like where I think this is going.
Oh, Julia going through the table?
Yeah, but the way she'd have to be flipped off, I don't
There she goes.
like that.
Maybe Buddy will catch it then.
Oh, okay.
Still, though. Oh, she's going to land in Buddy's arms, and he's going
Yeah.
to go through the table. You can see it coming.
Ooh.
Yep. But I'm okay with it. Got his mask back. Now, what prevents the House of Black from just stealing it again?
Nothing.
Honor.
It would be
The
so
code.
funny if they did that next week. Andrade just gets increasingly more pissed every time he has to win his mask back.
Various stipulation with the mask. There'll be a
Right.
mask in a shark cage.
Oh my god, I would love that so much.
Oh, so they didn't have LFI this week. I'm a little shocked.
Really, that's what we're gonna do with Miro?
Well, there's no real interview. You don't send Solo by himself to go after Miro.
Why
You
did
have
they
a-
take the W off Aaron Solo's last name?
I don't know. I mean,
I remember it was probably a couple years ago. I remember they making reference to it in like Sammy's blog.
maybe because he doesn't get any.
Yeah.
First, I almost thought we were back to a House of Black match. When you don't hear the music, it does kind of have a similar looking entrance. Can't speak 'cause my head's on fire.
Who is Darby fighting again?
He's looking for a fight.
What do you think?
Oh, is it just
Wow.
like an open challenge
Yeah.
thing?
I think so. So he lost to Swerve. Oh,
You do AR Fox yet, right?
he's going to call out AR Fox. Would you? I don't know if you'd go back to back on that. Would you go back to back on that?
I mean, you could just have a dirty finish and just build a tag match, a tag program with him and Nick Wayne versus Swerve and AR.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily even saying that's not the feud, but why would you go Dynamite to Collision on that?
I don't know. Darby's been everywhere lately.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hope they don't do a lot of. I don't want guys who are on Dynamite to be heavily featured on Collision the same week. Like, spread your talent out. All right. Did everyone see that Subway wants someone to change their name to Subway?
Like in Community?
100%. They're going to give someone free Subway for life if they change their name to Subway.
Oh my god.
Someone will do it. That's not horrible.
That whole arc in Community, it was so funny to me.
That's one of the best arcs they had.
The guy that they got to play Subway and then later just Rick, he was so perfect for that. because he does look just like a commercial actor.
Oh, he does. Also, he was on Scrubs.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wasn't a
He
big
he
fan
was
of
one of the later love interests of Elliot Reed. But yeah, when the guy's listening to Subway and Britta hook up, and he's like, "This is fine. They're allowed to have." Oh my god, no. Joe, were you a Community fan?
I was. I'm
Okay,
a big
good.
fan of the human beings.
Oh, Jesus Christ. In trying not to be racist, you've reached a whole new level of racism.
It's one of those shows I go back and rewatch every year.
I was looking forward to the movie, but who knows when it'll be now. With whatchamacallit, with the strike.
I don't think I can eat enough. I don't like Subway enough to eat that for a lifetime, though.
No, I mean, there's very few things I like enough where that would seem worth it to me.
Yeah. But even just like, your chain sub shops, that's not in my top 5, probably.
I mean, I think I'd be better off with something like, I'd say like McDonald's or something that you know that you might not have all the time, but you know you'll have a lot of. Man, I haven't seen a commercial for a printer in a long time. Just got one with Shaq in it.
Oh.
Holy Christ. That was a great shot of Darby just looking down like, come on.
Really? Darby versus Suzuki, huh?
Very, very random, but I'm here for it.
I know. I was ready for Darby to do like a short little promo, calling out anyone.
Yeah. Didn't even.
Oh.
One thing the camera guy does right at AEW, because they miss a lot of shots, but they get the Darby dive real well.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing they get right every time.
And of course, the best friends hug.
Well, you got to give people what they want. This match technically hasn't started, correct?
I don't think so.
He never got into the ring, so.
But what are rules
Love the old-fashioned
in AEW?
tape ribs. What'd you say?
What are rules in AEW?
That's true. They're not quite at ECW levels, but man, do they get close. He has the old school taped ribs, which always cracks me up. Because that tape does absolutely not.
Does he never not have them taped up? Like, that's just part of his look at this point, I swear.
It's like DDP.
Right?
He had his ribs taped up so many times they put it in the video game.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like
right.
making their action figure with taped ribs.
Did they really?
I mean, they could now. I mean, all the.
Oh, I thought you said
variants.
I thought they did with DDP, which wouldn't have shocked me.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
But with Darby, I mean, he is constantly hurt. Well, quote unquote hurt. You know what I mean?
Maybe DDP
tape
was
doesn't-
using it more like a back brace. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But does the tape really do anything?
If
I
you have
mean,
enough of
it can provide some compression, but it's not as good as the adjustable back braces when it comes to actually doing physical stuff like this.
Yeah.
Still more useful than like the Hogan weight belt.
Or the Cody weight belt.
Yeah, the weight belts are useless.
I mean, if you're lifting weights, they help. But that's about it.
I didn't even think lifting weights they helped.
They do if you wear them right. Most people don't realize that a weight belt is actually designed to be worn where the buckle is like in front of your belly button. You don't wear it around your waist. You wear it to protect your back.
Yeah, you wear it like an old man.
Right.
Yeah, back like where your waist is your belly button.
Yeah, and a lot of like where Darby has the tape right now is where a weight belt should be worn.
Yeah, I just never I never really wore one, but you'd see one and you try it out. I just never could.
God, my dad had like 4 of them.
My dad didn't use them.
Just old brown leather weight belts.
Mm-hmm.
My dad didn't use weight belts or gloves. He didn't use either of those things.
Back when men were men.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever found somewhat useful, and even that wasn't as useful as I wanted, was the straps you would put around like a barbell if you were like trying to do something heavy, like shrug something where like your hands were the weak point.
Mm-hmm.
But even that wasn't super helpful.
No, Eric, I don't root for the Phillies. I bought a cheap hat.
You bought an excellent hat. Phillies are the best. We get it.
Hey, I think they still have the Omaha kid on their roster.
They have what?
A kid from Omaha.
That's
I
right.
think
You're an
their
Omahayan.
What's that?
Bohm's their third baseman. Is he from Omaha?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, he is. Omaha, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Wichita State. Are you I mean, not. I don't want you to dox yourself here, so feel free to not truly answer this. But are you actually Omaha, or are you like a suburb of Omaha?
Omaha.
Okay, like I'm not Philly. I'm Jersey.
Yeah.
But Philly's, right there. So, like Doc's not Chicago. He's I don't know, somewhere.
Suburbs.
Yeah.
I'm like an hour north.
I have to admit every time when I won't say the S when I say Illinois out loud, but when I read Illinois, I always say the S.
You always be wrong then.
I am 100% wrong. I know it, but when I read it, it's Illinois.
How do you say Des Moines? You say Des Moines?
No, I say them right. Like I say them right, but when I read them in my head, I do the S. I don't know how I don't accidentally screw up and say it wrong, but it's whatever way my brain processes it.
Yeah, I forget Doc's are up in the Chicago area.
Yeah, I'm actually like, it would take me about the same amount of time to drive up to Milwaukee as it would down to Chicago. Like, I'm pretty close to the Wisconsin border.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nobody knows any of the towns near where I am. So saying Chicago area is the easiest way to give people an idea.
I'll be honest. I don't know any town in most states.
Because you never leave home?
Say that again?
Because you never leave home?
I go to Philly. I like the bubble. The bubble is good. The bubble is great. It's right under my will as of this date. So is he just Suzuki just on his doing whatever the fuck I want tour? Still,
Pretty much.
that's cool.
I mean, I think that's just the phase of the career he's in now.
That's a cool phase to get into. But that's another reason that AEW is cool. And I'm not trying to but WWE wouldn't bring him in for just these random appearances. They just wouldn't. So he would never really get a ton of American TV time and stuff. So he would just have to be doing this in Japan. So it's cool that he gets to come out here and, experience American stuff.
Yeah, I like that AEW acknowledges that they're not the only wrestling company in the world, but I also understand the argument of people being like, they act like I'm supposed to know who all these people from all these other companies are. Like, give me more background information. Sometimes they're good at it, sometimes they're not.
Yeah. Both things are absolutely true. That it's great that they acknowledge this, but sometimes you do need some supplementary information. And no, not all of it should be left up to the viewer to do their own research. Sometimes it should be given to you. It's not that hard to do a promo package.
Right, I understand the whole Google exists, guys, but it's I shouldn't have to do homework to watch a TV show.
Yeah. It's cool that if you give me a promo package that just tells me why this guy's important, that's awesome. If I want to Google to find out all the really cool stuff, like the details I won't, that's great on me. But you should still tell me why they're important.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And to his credit, Excalibur usually does a great job providing a lot of background information quickly on commentary. So that can help fill in the gaps.
He really does. I still think though, that old school 30-second, almost like a commercial for the guy is probably your best bet.
Yeah.
I love that reversal of the coffin drop. Ooh, nice way to get. That was a good way to get a win. He is angry. How do you ask your barber for that haircut?
You actually think like a barber?
You say, "Give me the Suzuki."
I'm just saying, but how did he do it?
Well, the first time you do it, what would the? Well, I'm not up on the history of.
I mean, is it supposed to look like tiger stripes or something? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know either, but just imagine. I mean, just shave out a bunch of lines.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized his neck tattoo said "Ain't Life Grand."
No regrets.
No regrets. Shin's giving a promo.
I'm distracted by the AEW red logo that reminds me of the Raw logo.
God, it really does.
They need to fix that. Also, I'm distracted by the fact that Christian is not that much shorter than Luchasaurus.
No.
Christian's not a small dude.
He's not. I just didn't realize how close in height they were.
It also may be deceptive because he's in front of Luchasaurus and the camera is below both of their heads. So that weird angle, sometimes TV is so much more deceptive than people think. How do you think Tom Cruise constantly appears to be taller than his love interests when, let's face it, we know he's not?
Yeah, and it's like being on here, just being on a podcast, that's about 100 pounds to me. So, like, I don't know why it does that to me only, but it does.
Well, like, you'd never know Cardoza is 6'4" by looking at him on a
No.
podcast.
Yeah, that is, like, the most shocking information I've ever heard. I'm glad they're giving Sheeta some shine.
Christian is 6'1".
Yeah, so there's a few more inches than I thought. Okay. Well, no, how tall is Luchasaurus?
Mm.
I mean, he's at least 6'2" or 6'4", somewhere in that range.
6'5".
All right, so there's a decent difference there. Yeah, I love that they're giving Sheeta a shine again. She deserves it.
I just hope they're not just building her up so she can lose to Tony. Like,
I agree on that. But, her whole run was basically COVID times.
mm-hmm.
She deserves to have like her moment in front of fans because she carried them for a long time. She was like the reliable wrestler they had for a very long time.
Oh, 100%.
Joe. I'm not talking to you over there, Joe.
Oh.
Joe. I gotta ask, was Samoa Joe the inspiration for your name? Going with Asian Joe?
Yeah. No, look at a longer history behind that. That had nothing to do with wrestling. So
it just fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Was it a situation where you were in school or work and there was another Joe and somebody else called you Asian Joe first just to differentiate the two of you?
No, but you're almost there, but not quite. The quick backstory is there's a local sports talk radio show here in Omaha, and they have text message or social media like tweet into the show type things, and there'd be multiple Joes who would have like horrible takes on the show, and every now and then I message them and like to differentiate, like I'm not the one who had a horrible take. I'm the Asian one. I'm Asian Joe, not Phoenix Joe.
Gotcha.
So
actually, I feel a lot better about that, Joe. To be quite honest, that you're the one who gave yourself the nickname.
Right.
So the other way, it's just sad. That just makes me feel bad. Just a bunch of, because the other way, kids are jerks. This way, you're just mocking people with bad takes.
Yeah, you can lean into it.
But it does fit well that there's a Samoa Joe.
It just sounds kind of like Joe's last name too, like Joe's real last name and Samoa. You kind of almost look and read alike when I see it on TV.
Yeah,
when I watch Twisted Metal, I see his name in the credits, and
he's so good in that. His body acting.
I wish they would just let him do the voice.
It's one of those things where I agree. I mean, they were going to need to do a dub over either way because there's no way, like, with that mask on, you'd hear him clearly. But I agree. He's such a good talker and he has a good menacing voice. It would have worked.
Isn't that funny that, like, he does get cast just for his voice as King Shark?
Yeah.
And then he's cast just for his body for another adaptation.
Guys, he can do both. Oh my God, the walk away with the mom.
Joe.
Somewhere Kate's losing her mind. I like Gravity.
Mojo, yeah.
Oh, it's Mojo's. What an all-timer.
We all like Gravity, Ryan.
I'm saying, like, it's not been a fan of mine for a long time, but the few matches I've seen him in, he seems to really be a lot of fun. It'd be nice if you defended it on Ring of Honor more. I need to talk to Tony Khan. He needs to just give me Ring of Honor. I watch Dark. I know who all these guys are. Actually, I'll be honest. That's one of the frustrating things watching Ring of Honor anymore is that I don't even see some of the guys who are like AEW regulars on Dark. It's like, why wouldn't you use those guys?
Like who in particular?
Like you think like the the Wingmen. They're not even really on that. It's like they were fixtures on Dark, and they're talented and they're funny. Like they should be on ROH.
Did you watch Rampage, Ryan?
Yeah, I did.
So are they going to move the Kingdom onto AEW stuff now more?
Did kind of look like that.
I'm like, that's an interesting choice.
Which
Yeah, it's
honestly, I don't want them to do that. I would rather the Kingdom get a run with the ROH tag titles because they've been
Right.
holding that division up.
Yeah, like their whole
I
promo
agree.
of how they were like the OGs and how they carried that division and how they were so proud to be there.
And for some reason, Maria fits so much better in ROH than she does in AEW. I can't really explain why I think that. I just do.
See, I think I get what you're saying. To me, it just feels like in ROH they let her like be a focus a little bit more. Where in AEW, because up until like last night they had just been losing, she kind of just gets thrown to the side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought when he bought ROH and he was going to put it back on Honor Club or whatever, I really thought you'd obviously see some of the old school ROH people back, which would be a great idea. And then you'd have people who were on AEW who weren't being used, and it'd be a chance to give them screen time and the ability to get over so that if they really start to work, they can go work AEW TV. And it hasn't been that.
I will say that I feel like the Dark Order's little storyline there might actually help reinvigorate them after what we saw on Rampage with them like kind of reestablishing that they're recruiting and they're no longer just there to have fun.
Yeah. No, that was a great use of ROH because it was a story for both. You had the story playing out on AEW with Hangman, and then you had Vincent, you had the Righteous, who are ROH fixtures with this. Like that's a good use. But like the only people who I think have been well used in ROH are the Dark Order and Athena. Athena's amazing.
Yeah, Athena's run has been so good. I was so happy that when I talked to Rosa, I was just like, so we've seen you in ROH. You think you might head back down there? And she just started talking about Athena for like 5 minutes and how she wants to fight her. I'm like, oh, this is
She
perfect.
really liked Athena.
Yeah, it was great.
And all because of they people got all bent out of shape over a dark match. That changed everything for Athena.
But their Warrior Wrestling match that she talked about in the interview, it's good.
It was a great match, but my point, like AEW wasn't going to let Athena be heel, and then
At
that
least
match
not-
changed
yeah.
it. Yeah, and just letting her be heel has changed so much. Oh, he's got the bag.
I feel like because he's already addressed what's in the bag, having him actually pull anything out of the bag isn't like a satisfying reveal until he's actually back in the chase for the real one.
Yeah, unless he's feuding with Lance Archer and Jake the Snake puts a snake in there.
Okay, that would be legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we got to your bag. You might want to open it, and it's just a snake.
Swap out the bags. Yeah.
You know what? And Punk is one of those guys where would be like, you know what? Randy Savage let himself get bit. Fuck it. Let a snake bite me.
Yeah, it landed him in the hospital, but who cares?
I love when they did on AEW and Jake was like, "He bit me and I never ended up in the hospital."
Jake was great on that show.
He looked like he was having a good time.
I love when, well, actually, everyone seems to have when they get what RJ City is.
Yeah. The one with Suzuki had me cracking up too.
Actually, tell you the truth, AEW is one of the best things that happened for Sky Blue. I know she picked up a lot, like people kind of had a different opinion about her after that.
But she has yet to set someone on fire at AEW.
Can't wait. They better let her.
I think it'll happen. Or she'll like set a table on fire and put somebody through it. Just hopefully not as much as Brandy.
All-time great gif, though. It's her staring at it. Is he gonna make a Whalers joke?
Who's taking a shot out there?
That's the problem with him. You never know what he's doing. I do hate that I'm nervous half the time that he talks and he's actually gonna like just go loose. Oh my god! I don't know who it is, but I do hear one TV.
Oh, it's probably me. Sorry.
What is the inspiration for his shirt? I feel like I've seen that writing somewhere else. Not the words, the style.
It does look familiar. I don't know though.
What's in the bag? What's in the bag? I never realized it was I'm a Collision guy. That's pretty funny. So he's not pulling out. What's he pulling out? It is. Holy shit. I didn't think he pulled it out yet.
I had my fears that he would, and this was exactly why I said what I said earlier.
Well, that's weird. Why wouldn't you wash it? Like if you had it that long, go wash it. That's just dirty. Scott George Paul gonna take that
And
pop with Mad Dog.
unhygienic.
Very.
Look at you, Mr. Hollywood Hogan.
There's only one X. I thought you had 3. I guess he only does the one on his wrist. Scott George, if he pulled out Mad Dog 2020, we would all be very confused.
And you know it.
And he's bringing that back.
I was just going to say, interesting that him and MJF both have catchphrases about being better than you.
I'm a big fan of this, actually. I wasn't at first because I was with you. I didn't like it, but I love Ricky Starks. He's going to be so tough to make heel.
Nigel.
Since Kate's not here, I will say it. The stage there is so pretty. She kept looking at me all last week, just be like, that stage.
Nigel going along with Ricky is killing me. Ricky's like, pretend he didn't all just see me. And then he comes back out. Nigel's like, oh my God, it's Ricky Starks.
Nigel rules.
I love him so much.
Scott George with another good comment. Trey Miguel's destroying everything in his house right now after Punk just ripped off his gimmick. Probably right, Scott. I can't actually argue that.
Ricky should tell Punk that he wants a shot at his S Division championship.
What is that fest?
I've learned a lot about fashion from pro wrestling shows over the last few years, and it's just made me learn more about the fact that I'm not good with fashion.
I have 0 fashion. Those glasses. Guy in the background doesn't know where his seats are. I'm laughing at the guy in the background who doesn't know where his seats are. I'm sorry, guys.
You don't think Tony Khan will eventually create a Collision title and a Dynamite title, do you?
No, I don't. I think this is
A one-time deal.
I think this is because of the situation. You had to acknowledge it, and this is something Punk can do to keep him whatever. And then they'll have. I wouldn't be shocked if Wembley wasn't Punk versus MJF.
I hope it's Larry.
It's all over the ring. I think they're going to have to just accept that Ricky can act like a heel and will likely still always just get cheered.
Part of it is also because he's in the ring with
True.
Punk too.
True. But also just Ricky's so goddamn entertaining. I'm just going to deck him. Oh, I'm surprised. That's so random. That's so random. Am I missing something here?
Well, at least he's at least having Rick Devine is playing a little bit of history of it, thankfully.
Yeah, but like, is that it? Just the couple CM Punk matches he refed?
I think maybe the whole thing with Ricky is like he's such a clean baby face that he won't allow any cheating.
I guess, but it's not like the other refs allowed it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because they have the same name. It can be only one Ricky.
I mean, he's refed a Punk match before, right? Isn't that
That's
what
what-
the announcers were saying?
Yeah, but I just don't understand. I guess I don't know. I'm not that I'm against it because it is cool just to bring in like as a ref. It's not like he's going for the title himself. But
I'm kind of shocked to find out Steamboat isn't under a WWE Legends deal. I just figured he was.
wondering if they're shocked that he's not as well.
How funny would it be if the Legends deals just forgot to include any language about appearing on TV for another promotion?
For a long time, I don't think it mattered. Now we're at the highlight of the show. I wonder why they stopped doing the Schlong gear. Well, they're still doing it, but they used to do each did a half of it.
I don't know, man, but Juice Robinson is just like so unintentionally funny all the time.
Juice is why the Guns work in Bullet Club Gold, because his personality is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I see. All right, Rob. Thanks for watching the watch along with us, and we'll catch you next time you're around. But yeah, like he's so goofy that like the Bullet Club, the Guns being goofy works.
Yeah, I forgot this match is on the card.
So did I. What a random match. Action Andretti subbing in for an injured wrestler again. I like Action Andretti. It's just that he's never. What kind of deal do they have Vikingo on? My God. He's around a lot.
Yeah, what, like, does he even work for AAA despite holding their title?
Probably just
It's
buying
crazy.
his time there until the contract runs out and then just sign him up.
And Top Flight has never been able to catch a break.
No, it feels like most of their run in AEW, one of them has been injured the whole time.
Yep. And then as soon as the guy comes back, they have a couple matches where people are like, oh, yeah, this is why we loved them. And then he gets hurt again.
Yep.
The only thing I will say is Action Andretti being the substitute partner for Darius makes a lot more sense now, because I was always wondering why it wasn't AR Fox, because like he was their buddy for a while. But if that was your plan for AR Fox, it makes sense.
Remember that like 2-week period where they had a weird trio where it was like AR Fox, Blake Christian, and oh god, the other masked guy, King of the Ropes guy.
Yeah.
I
know who you're talking about.
Oh, he was in Lucha House Party. Why can't I think of
Metal
his
League.
name? Yeah. Remember they were like trying to
Yeah,
position them as a new team, and then they just had a couple matches and that was it. Like the ROH 6-man division doesn't exist. Those titles don't need to be a thing.
Which is a shame, because they're, again, when your main roster, Jesus Christ, sorry, them pulling out a cardboard cutout of Jay White just cracks me up. When your main roster has trios titles, again, you can be developing teams that eventually go over to AEW and ROH.
Yeah. I mean, the AEW trios titles still don't feel that important to me. Like some matches feel important, but the belts themselves, they feel like a lost thing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Almost as soon as they introduce the titles, they cut back on the amount of trios matches they do. You should have groups that are almost like the Dark Order, until they recruit, should almost always be in trios matches, working their way up.
Right.
You can have a group like, I don't think either of these two groups, but like you can have a bunch of groups that's all they do. And then you have a division formed so that when these rivalries start to happen with House of Black, people are in on it.
Right, like the QTV guys, they should be doing trios matches.
Yep.
And now it's like, what? So Brian Cage is in the Embassy and him and Big Bill are a separate thing?
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with that. I get it's not that I have a problem with the tag team itself. I'm just not thrilled with what you just said. He's both in the Embassy as a trios, and then he's in the tag team with Big Bill. And I think that just solely falls out of the fact that him and Big Bill look good together in their mixed, their whatever tag team that got put together for the tournament.
Didn't the firm and the embassy have a working relationship for a while?
They did, but now the firm doesn't exist. And what happens
Right.
with Lee Moriarty?
God, I haven't seen Lee Moriarty in a while.
Nope. No, he's been on because he was on ROH this past week because he teamed with Big Bill.
And then they were in the tag battle royal last night.
No, Big Bill and Brian Cage were in the tag battle royal.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh,
We're saying Lee Moriarty.
Oh, sorry. I was looking down and typing. I missed what you were saying.
Yeah, Lee Moriarty and Big Bill teamed on ROH this week. They kind of need to decide what they're doing with Big Bill. Get you action, Andretti, getting yourself over. What is this? Oh my God. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the waiting spots. It's never been a thing for me.
No, I hate when people just look like they're waiting for something to happen.
That's why I'm a big fan of like when it's like a tag team match and it looks like one tag member is holding the other guys in place to take the hit. Like you put logic to the move.
What you should do is you have two cameras working a spot like that. You have one just focused on the guys who are setting up and climbing and getting in a position, and it does not show anybody waiting. And then you have one in a wide shot ready to show the impact, and it's up to the director to switch at the right time so you don't see everybody just standing around waiting. There was another spot in a big multi-man match just last week where I was like, it looks like 6 guys are just waiting for this dude to climb to the top rope. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I can't stand it. But like this past week, I forget which tag match it was. The one guy literally held his two opponents while his partner jumped off the top rope. Like, okay, that's logic. They're quote unquote waiting because the partner held them there.
Right. I know that stuff's not perfect. It takes time to set up and everything, but there's ways to make it look better with the camera angles, the directing, all that.
Yeah.
So really, nobody should be blaming the cameramen in AEW. They should be blaming the director backstage who's deciding which camera is being shown to the audience at any given time.
I agree.
I don't know who that is in AEW.
Yeah. I need you two to do me a favor and hold down the fort for a minute. My phone is alerting me someone's at the door, so let me see who's at the door.
It's too popular.
Gotcha.
I also didn't know we're having Kira Hogan and Mercedes Martinez coming up.
Yeah, I didn't really look too hard at the card until I had to like put the article together for my recap on Bleacher Report.
This has a match that's going to feel like it's going to go like 2.5 minutes.
I really hope not, because both of them are really good, and it would be a lot of fun to see them get like 10 minutes maybe. I mean, they have time.
Yeah, I mean, they have their 8:20 depth slot here for women's matches.
Oh. They do this a lot on Dynamite too.
They do. I'll be interested to see if anything changes with all the talk about, booking the division and all that stuff after last Dynamite.
Oh, when the sign was shown.
Yeah, the sign and the Britt and Taya Valkyrie match, and yeah, there wasn't a great match.
That Britt and Taya match was something else, wasn't it?
It was just clunky, and like I mean, I don't either. Taya has lost something, or she hasn't found anyone in AEW that she had really good chemistry with.
So I like Britt, but I hate to say it, like she only works well with certain people.
Right, I agree.
And unfortunately, that's not a good thing to have in a top star. Like you need somebody who can work with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people in AEW that are like that, where it's like they have a handful of people that they work really, really well against, and then everybody else things look kind of awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not sure what they can do to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, you hope that Britt would develop and grow into that if she wants to be kind of that, locker room leader. You're going to have to develop being able to work with anyone in any style.
To her credit, she has gotten a lot better since joining AEW.
Mm-hmm. Sloan Mike, thanks for joining us. It's just a perplexing thing of what they're doing to some of the women in AEW and the programs they have going on for them or lack thereof.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they use Jade once she comes back.
Yeah.
Because as much as she's improved, she's still not at a place where you would want to put the top title on her yet.
Right.
So unless they just have her go right back to the TBS title or not chase the title, I don't know what you do with her.
Yeah, she's not a workhorse. I'll be interested if she comes back as like what kind of presentation she has, if she's the Jade that left or if she's a different version now. What do you thought of Mercedes' run so far? Because I know she's been mostly in ROH. Do you like it a lot better than what she was doing prior to coming to AEW?
I like Mercedes a lot. I still don't think they've figured out how to use her.
Sure.
Even her run in ROH, it felt like they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I was a little surprised they had put the title on her that early.
It almost felt like it was one of those things where Tony's like, she deserves the title, even though we have no plans for her. And just kind of put one on her without thinking.
And I'm back. And there was no one there. My phone the camera was freaking out, so I had to reset it. And
just a squirrel screwing with you or something.
Honestly, it could be, and that I have to find it and hunt it down. I like Kiera Hogan.
She's another person they've really never done much with, have they?
No. She's someone who should be in like the ROH division regularly. She kind of was, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had that great little run with Athena there for a bit, and I kind of wanted them to keep that going.
Yeah. Because they need to, like, again, wrestlers like Kiera Hogan should be down in ROH, building themselves up, so that they're over. That's all you have to do. Because fans were enjoying her down there a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll be honest, I don't know how she wrestles with the hair though.
No, that would be a thing. I mean, like, I'm sure she's gotten used to it, but that would definitely be a detriment.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts. There you go. How the hell did they time this women's bout to happen the same time they do on Dynamite? Come on.
Ow. You act like
I just like,
you knew it was going to happen.
yeah, I mean, you think they would, have one at
Why can't they ever open the show?
yeah,
or close the show?
Or I don't care if it's 8:30, just not the same time every week.
Yeah, it's always 10 minutes to the bottom of the hour, of the second hour. At least we had Nyla and Shia last night as the main event, right?
Yeah.
That's what we get.
Yeah, Rampage is the exception. The women do end up, but being only an hour,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different.
And plus on Rampage, you almost want to be the first match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they booked that in reverse, so yeah.
I like Mercedes Martinez too. She's very good. Glad to see she's back and able to wrestle. I think that's the most frustrating thing about their women's division. They have the talent, just use it.
Yeah, I was expecting a Statlander match this week for some reason. Kind of surprised we didn't get it on the show.
Me too. I'm hoping they're going to build her into a feud soon because this is wasting her.
Yeah, you don't want the same thing happening like with Jay's title run, just like random person, and not have a program.
Yeah, and it's not even like the Orange Cassidy random person where that is the program. It's like Orange Cassidy's feels intentional. Like it's just going to be he'll fight anyone, anywhere. Jade's towards the end just kind of felt like we don't know what else to do with you.
I mean, they literally had her roll over freaking Willow of all people 3 times.
Yeah, a better way of booking that would have been Willow losing twice and winning that third time.
Oh my God, I wanted her to win so bad. Like, I don't think I've grown appreciation for anyone as fast as I have for Willow.
He's awesome.
Like, I did not pay attention to her run on the indies very much. Like, I knew who she was, but it wasn't until she showed up in AEW that I really took the time to look at her, and I'm like, oh, this girl's amazing.
Kate was a big fan of hers before she was on AEW, so I knew of her through
Phil,
Kate.
too. Phil was talking about her for like a year or two before I ever saw her on TV.
Yeah, the two of them were on her early and loved her, so that's how I got into her. Sloan might asking, what do all of us think about Lufisto's comments about egos in the women's division? I'm not back there, so I can't really say like what happens backstage. It's not the first person to say that or I've heard that from. So
it's also not unexpected and not exclusive to the women's division. That's just the wrestling business.
They're all carnies.
Yeah. But like anybody who's in a performance or an athletic type of job is going to be competitive. And here you have both.
Yeah, this is the worst of the world. You have athletic theater kids.
Exactly. You have kids competing for screen time because they think they're the most entertaining, and kids competing for screen time because they think they're the best at wrestling. Or you
Yeah,
have a
it's
guy
just-
like Bryan Danielson who's just great at everything and doesn't have to worry about his spot because everybody loves him and he's always going to be safe.
And then on top of that, so much of this is subjective. Like in sports, at least, there's objectivity where, like, are you winning your games? Are you scoring the most points? With all this being subjective, they feel the need to argue or politic their way into certain stuff because they just need the screen time.
It gotta be tough for the women's division in AEW because like it's so that TV time is so rare and it's so small.
Basically, if you're not in, oh, here's Statlander.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're not in Impact, I think it's tough to be in the women's division.
Little Stat Mercedes program. I'd be down for a few matches between them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Mercedes kind of matches the belt. And the ultimate babyface. Willow.
So Statlander didn't see who attacked her, right? Is she going to mistake Willow for the attacker right here?
I think she saw.
Oh, okay.
Because she turned around and got hit with the belt.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, she's not an AEW ref.
Also, like, that trope in wrestling bothers me so much because, like, it might last for the night, but as soon as you watch the replay, you see who attacked you.
Yeah, who was it? Was it like Adam Cole a couple of weeks ago made a joke about like it's MJF. He's not going to go home and watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes Kevin Owens in WWE great. He actually watches.
Oh my god, Kevin Owens, man, he is one of a handful of people that is keeping WWE going for me right now.
He is amazing.
Legitimately one of the best talkers ever, I think.
He's got a naturalness to the way he talks, but at the same point, he can be funny and absurd. It's a rare talent where they are natural, but also able to pull off like comedy and aggression at the same time.
Yeah, it's a really valuable tool to be able to be intimidating and funny. Joe has that really well, but Kevin Owens might be better at it than anybody I can ever think of.
Yes, I'm trying to think. I think you're right. It's funny, actually. Kevin and Sammy are two of my favorite talkers in general because they're both so natural when they talk.
And what's so funny is for years, Sami Zayn was not thought of as a good talker.
You're right. He wasn't, but he just so. I like natural. Like my favorite are the guys who sound like natural. I don't like the character. It's actually why sometimes MJF's a bit too much for me. Because sometimes he's a bit too much of a character.
Yeah, but I almost appreciate that about him too. Like there is something to be said for his commitment to it. Like he's never not playing that character. When he's at a signing, every fan will come away with a story about how MJF was a dick to them, but they love it.
Oh yeah, let me rephrase it. I like the character. I mean, when he talks though, he kind of has a bit of that old school like yelly talk. It doesn't sound as natural. Like I like like Punk is a natural speaker for the most part. He does yell eventually, but he speaks naturally. Jericho for a while was natural. He's kind of lost that again. He's gone back to the yelly side. But again, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, very natural speakers. Jon Moxley's a very natural speaker.
Speaking of Chris Jericho, I'll let you guys in on a little something. Keep this between you, me, and the people in the chat. I knew about the Don Callis thing that Mel was doing for a little bit beforehand, and I've just been waiting for it to show up, and like when it finally showed up this week, you could not understand how like hard I was cheering. I was so happy.
She is everywhere right now.
It's so great.
And she's in all. Did you watch the Did either of you two watch the Comic-Con panel with the ROH figure reveal?
Yeah, the artwork.
I just saw the clip for the Sting one. Yeah.
With the
Well,
artwork
her artwork got a cheer.
Yeah.
Because it looks so cool in the back of the box. What I like about hers is her style can change. Like she's doing like the style she does for Callus is all the same, but that's the style that Callus like.
Right. He wants like, so when she did the first piece, that was just her doing it because she wanted to do it. It wasn't something Don asked her to do or any of that. And then the second one kind of kicked things off, and now they're up to 3 that they've had of hers featured on TV. I'm just so proud of her. Like,
I'm just saying, like,
she's legitimately one of my closest friends in the world, and to see her finally getting some recognition is so great.
I'm just saying what I like about her though is that like you have the Don Callis style, which is what he wants, but that's not just her style. Like her ROH boxes look completely different. Other stuff she's done has looked completely different. So I just really like that about her, that her stuff fluctuates from like all over the place, because it's just really cool to have that talent. And
the thing I wish she would, I wish she would occasionally do more of the cartoony kind of comic style ones she did, like the Stokely one that she did where she's holding the raggedy Bryan Danielson doll. Like, I love that kind of stuff. But her photorealism and some of her stuff is so insane.
It really is. So she's very good at that.
What did you do with the thing I sent you? The Eddie Kingston thing, the print. Or did you never get that from Kate?
It's still at Kate's, because Kate is just bad at giving me things.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, that's between Kate. I picked her up for Collision. I could have got it then. I forgot. Like we're just bad at that. We're so close to each other so far.
Well,
she told me about it. She didn't hide it. It's just she's like, oh yeah, I got the thing from Doc. I'll give it to you. I'm like, all right, next time I see you. I've seen her a couple times. I haven't gotten it. I'll tell her I'm seeing her in August again, so I'll get her to bring it down. We're going to the New Japan Juniors Festival thing they're doing.
Ah, nice.
Looks like a banger. Is he doing the Steiner brothers here?
Well, I know he's posing where Roddy usually poses, but the running around thing, that might be a Steiner reference. I don't know.
Because Rick Steiner would run around and then he'd get on all fours.
For some reason, I took it like a Shawn Michaels thing, but because of Shawn's and Adam Cole's history.
That's the. I mean, I know I knew the Roddy thing, and I didn't think about Shawn Michaels, but I just the running around and the way he was tossing his head always made me think Rick Steiner. Not that you could bring Rick Steiner around anymore. Asshole.
Yeah, it's all of our childhood heroes are proving to be terrible people.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of should have guessed that. Wrestlers were never the best people to begin with. It's
Kane is really disappointing to me because I had a lot of respect for Kane for a long time.
Yeah, that's I got this, and we're not going to get too into it, but just the route of his, not even like his party affiliation, it's more the route in the party affiliation that I had issues with. You
Yeah,
can be what
he's
you are.
yeah. He's a
Which-
smart guy, but he's like throwing his hat in the wrong ring.
Yeah, like he went too much onto to the extreme. Like I don't mind if you, especially down there, you're probably better off listing yourself as, you know, Republican over Democrat, but you can be that and still believe and be a decent person. And he chose not to be.
I think it's so funny that for years he was trying to claim to be a libertarian. Like libertarians are just Republicans who are afraid to admit they're Republicans at this point.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
anyway, we got FTR versus
yeah, I was gonna say
AF. This is the main event everybody's been waiting for.
it is on Cassius trunks. He has a different back to his. I'm just
It still says FTR, but it's the 7-star FTR design with the rainbow
okay. Okay.
lettering.
I wasn't sure. It just looked different.
And the winner gets Big Bill and Brian Cage.
Jesus Christ. Who do we think wins here, boys?
I think FTR keeps the titles.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you,
I
Joe.
honestly wouldn't be shocked if Tony like saw the reaction to Cole and MJF and was like, let's keep this going for another month and put the belts on them.
True.
I almost thought about that when I saw Big Bill and Brian Cage win, because I'm like, oh, they could run it back.
So I'm torn because you do have to run with like the hot hand, but at the same point, FTR is FTR. I think it would suck to take the belts off them already. For a storyline, especially too, that's not going to end with Adam Cole and MJF being long-term tag partners. Does that sign say "has" with a Z? Why are they keeping the shirts on? Take the shirts off, boys. You're in a match.
Sell the shirt, man.
I think that shirt's sold plenty. I do appreciate that they have matching gear.
Tag teams and matching gear always make me really happy.
All tag teams should have matching gear. It should be a requirement.
That was my only complaint about Lucha House Party was that they always just wore whatever they wanted and they never looked like a team.
Yeah, all you have to do is color coordinate.
Right. Like hell, even Sonya and Chelsea went out and got matching gear. And they weren't even supposed to be a team.
Ooh,
What is
Dax
that?
saving him from?
What does that sign say? Why is beer how many dollars? Oh, he took it down. Somebody was holding up a sign saying like, why is beer $12 or whatever the ridiculous price at that arena must be?
All arenas are overpriced. It's ridiculous.
$12 would be cheap, I feel like.
Dude, I paid, God, it might have been like $14 for a bottle of water at the Now Arena. Disgusting.
So I have Flyer season tickets, and they give their season ticket holders like a discount on all concessions. It's 20%,
nice.
which isn't bad. But even 20% off, I'm still way overpaying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that insane. It should be illegal because you're trapped. You can't bring anything in.
The movie theater by me, if I went to the movies more, I would do this. They have a subscription deal now that people can do where it's like, I think it's like $25 a month gets you a pair of tickets to any 2 movies that you want. And then like you get 2 sodas and a bucket of popcorn for those 2 movies as well. And it does probably save you more than 50% if you just went out and did that twice in a month normally.
Yeah,
But I
just
just
never go to-
don't. Yeah, I just don't go to the movies enough.
I'm not a big movie by myself guy either, which is a big problem when you get into something like that. Because if you're not going by yourself, then you're not going more than once a month.
Right.
I go
If
by
you're even
myself all
going
the
once a
time.
month.
I always go to like the 10 or 11 o'clock shows on the weekends in the morning.
I mean, it's weird because I don't know why I don't like it. It's not like I'm like embarrassed I'm by myself or anything. I don't care. I just have never been a guy to go by myself.
I think for me, it's like if I'm gonna spend the money to do that, I want it to be like for a social gathering kind of thing. Like whenever I
that's
go
like
out to the movies, I'm also usually going out to dinner with whoever I'm going out to the movies with. Like we make it a night of it.
yeah, the same thing. And then plus I enjoy talking about the movie with someone that I saw it with. Sloan might telling us there was $2 hot dogs at the Impact taping last night. Now that's a deal.
Wow.
I mean,
That's like a minor league ballpark deal.
that's what does that Costco hot dog cost? You know, they have that. It's like $1.50 for a hot dog and a drink or something there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing when sports run dollar dog night.
Yeah.
I always get a bunch. Slap fight.
Does Roddy get involved?
I feel like he should. Like they're telling that story. What are you guys seeing in picture right now?
An ad for Meg 2?
Yes.
Yes.
I am excited for this. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it looks like they're going way more ridiculous than the first movie did, which was my only complaint about the first movie, was they didn't lean into how ridiculous it was.
Like
But
I
now
enjoyed the first movie, but I agree.
Now you got like Jason Statham flying a wave runner with spears. Like, hell yes, give that to me.
And you have the giant octopus and you have other creatures coming around. Like, come on.
There you go. Both of you
Well,
go see
like
that movie by yourself.
you know it's based on a series of books, right?
Yeah.
The books are apparently 10 times more ridiculous than the movie ever was. Like I think in the book, the way he kills the Meg is he purposely gets swallowed and then cuts his way out with a knife.
Is that so? It was like Sharknado.
Yeah, and then there's like a T-Rex in the first book.
God. Well, there's a T-Rex in this one. It's like like they show like the pre-shot of the T-Rex getting eaten by the Meg. It's funny, in their attempts to make the first one more realistic, they opened up a giant logic flaw that no one could explain. Because in the first, like the books, I read the wiki. I haven't read the books. But the books is all about the Marianas Trench.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they didn't want to talk about that. So in the first one, they broke through that like barrier thing, that like cold barrier or something. But here's the problem: at the very beginning of the movie, Jason Statham like experiences a Meg, but they haven't broken through that barrier yet.
Yeah, they never really tell you what was going on in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so I just love that in their attempts to be more realistic, they opened up a giant logic flaw. I do not like this art style for the new Ninja Turtles, by the way.
You can't say I'm a huge fan either, but it's not made for me.
I'm not even saying like I care. Like I'm not judging the humor or anything. Like it's for kids. I just don't like the art style itself.
Right.
Sorry, I know I brought us back off of wrestling, but when I see a Meg commercial, I got to reference Meg. It is crazy the way they've booked this match. That Adam Cole and MJF is the babyface. He should not be, like, it's crazy. And I'm not saying he should not be because it's wrong. I'm just saying, as much of a heel as he is, he should not be able to get away with being a babyface right now, and he is. God, it makes FTR look so good, though. Double DDT, double DDT. Yeah. MJF is really good at this wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Serpentico tweeted out, fun fact of the night, none of these 4 men have been able to pin or submit Snake Man in any type of match in AEW. Because none of them have faced Snake
Right.
Man. Love him. He pulled double duty on ROH last week. He wrestled as John Cruz and then as Serpentico.
Nice.
I was hoping he'd do a
Same
third one as
outcome.
Bendejo. Either of you two watch Dark Side of the Ring this week?
No.
I did
No?
not.
Okay. Just curious. Ooh, Jericho and Takeshita versus. Oh, we knew that. So is Jack Perry and Jerry Lynn a match, or is it just this face-to-face that they're highlighting?
I'm actually not sure.
You could put
They're saying
face-to-face.
face-to-face. Yeah, they're saying face-to-face, but didn't it sound like a match on Wednesday?
It almost sounded like they were setting up for Jerry Lynn to bring somebody for him to face. They just didn't say it that way.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I hope they're doing, because I don't, and that's not a knock on Jerry Lynn. He had a retirement match, like stay retired. Maybe it'll be Tommy Dreamer. Sloan him with the RVD, which is what most people think, and I don't want RVD either. Though I wouldn't mind if Jack Perry went out and beat the hell out of Jerry Lynn, because that would be a nice heel move. Oh, he ducked the double.
Got a tag team question for you guys.
Sure.
When did they change the rule, or as far as like tagging? Like you can actually like tag the hand, and now we've gotten to the point where you can tag any part of the body. Has that always been a rule, or is that just something that evolved?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because I can think as far back as the 90s when people were tagging in by hitting their partner's back.
Okay.
But I do feel like in the 90s is when that changed.
Probably.
Because I think that's when tag team matches got, and I don't say Wild isn't like better. I mean, Wild is a little bit more all over the place. Like the early 80s and the early 90s didn't feel like, they felt like they more adhered to rules, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to do the blind tag spots if you have to actually use their hands and can't just slap their back.
Yeah. They need to hit this goddamn double clothesline. Nope, they're not going to hit it now. They are going to give this audience blue balls.
I mean, we've seen him hit before.
Yeah, but I mean, they've said it 3 times now. Oh. I love that Dax picked up the tag rope. I'm not like a big like I really am not one of these hardcore like follow these exact tag rules guys, but I like the tag rope because it provides a little bit of logic as to why you can't just tag anywhere. Is he gonna do what I think he's gonna do? It's just gonna be nope. Dax is behind him. He's gonna fuck this up. What I like about this match is FTR has been one step ahead of Cole and MJF the entire match, which they should be as the tag champs. Like they're the established team. They should be the ones who are more in control, understand things a little bit better.
Right. They have the better chemistry. They're the more successful duo, of course. They've been together for a long time. Like AEW is good at putting in little bits of logic like that, but then in other places they leave the logic out, and it's like I was really hoping, and I'm hoping he still can, like bringing in Will was such a good idea because he's got such a mind for continuity and just keeping track of what has happened on shows.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, obviously, he's only been there a handful of months now, and that's not enough time for that type of job to
Sure.
truly have the impact. But you're right; they're all over the place on some logic, but then in other areas they're really good. Like I do like that they typically don't have like these makeshift tag teams beat established tag teams typically because I don't like that. Like if you are like one thing that drives me nuts in WWE is they'll put together a tag team of like, you know,
Charlotte and
I'm trying
Bianca
to
being the tag team champions.
yeah, like Charlotte and Bianca, and that's not a knock on them, and they'll beat the tag team champions. Like the whole point is that tag team champs should be the best tag team. They're not the best individual wrestlers; they're the best team. Otherwise, it just lessens the tag team championships.
Right.
So, like in this match, FTR is known the tag strategies that Cole and MJF don't know as well or aren't as good with each other, and that's why they're the champs. They're individually not the better of the four wrestlers, but they're the better team. I just like the way that works out. Even if they end up winning, it's still been proven that FTR is the one who's the tag guys. 2 + 2 = potato. What does that mean? There's a sign that said 2 + 2 = potato.
What's all this potato talk?
There was a sign that said 2 + 2 = potato.
Hmm.
I didn't know what it meant. I've also never seen a guy land like that in the ropes before. That's awesome.
I love the fact that fans are cheering a low blow, a nut shot.
They really were. I love it. Well, there's only two guys I think in history that have ever gotten fans to cheer for a nut shot. That one right there, and it was Dustin Rhodes as Goldust. Used to get fans to cheer for his nut shots somehow.
Well, when Ric Flair would operate as a baby face and still act like a heel, he would do the low blow behind the ref's back and get a pop for it too.
That's true. Or where he would do the drop, but somehow he'd land his head in the opponent's, or even his partner. Sometimes it could happen both ways.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That was always a really weird but like fun spot.
That was awesome.
Oh. Okay.
Wow. I am shocked it ended that way.
Mm-hmm.
I like that ending though.
Yeah, a roll up.
MJF saved Cole. I know, like, I kind of want the story to be that MJF actually likes Adam Cole and he doesn't know what to do because that wasn't the plan.
Watch Adam Cole be mad at MJF now.
But look at MJF in the corner. Like, he looked so legitimately hurt that happened.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll just be really mad at Adam Cole for making him feel weak.
I don't know. I don't want him to betray. Like, obviously he's the heel and he should be the heel. I like the story of like Adam Cole somehow broke down that wall. I blew it.
He's like crying. Yeah, we still got 3 minutes left in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that was an incredible match.
Very fun.
Oh, I don't trust this. He's overacting. This is where he betrays him.
But who betrays who?
I don't know. Don't know. This is. I like this. This is actually has me like really.
It has me guessing. Even though we shouldn't, like we should know MJF is a snake and it'll probably be him.
But will Adam Cole outsmart him?
Is he going to hit Adam Cole with the belt? That angle is set up to have him hit him with the belt.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Look at that camera angle. Yeah.
But he's debating it. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
This has got me really invested. This is. I mean, if you had told me at the beginning of this moment would be here, I would not have believed you. Oh wait, is this where he betrays him? Every time they get distance from one another, I'm like, someone's about to screw the other.
I know, or I'm like, where's Roddy? See, the way Cole is like not, he's standing right there waiting for him to get down from the turnbuckle.
Like this is. I didn't think this is where they were going, and I'm okay with it. More story.
Yeah, I guess I'll do the turn and one of the Dynamites, I guess, before All In.
Hold on. I feel like it's just coming and we're just.
I mean, they're well into an overrun at this point.
Like, I just feel like Cole is just going to super kick him out of nowhere in a minute. And it just keeps never happening.
Now they're putting on the graphic.
Wow.
I'm literally in shock right now. All right. Well,
Wow.
that was unexpected.
Well,
So that was Collision on Saturday, July. I don't think any of us expected that.
I did not.
I did not expect a loss and they'd stay friends. Like that's just not where I thought that was going. That's okay. All right. All right. So that was fun. I'm glad you guys joined me here for this watch along. So I'm going to say I need you both to plug your stuff. We'll start with Doc. Tell everyone where you are.
You can find me on Twitter at br_doctor. You can find all of my work over on Bleacher Report, where I just finished up covering Collision, actually. And I have an Instagram. I rarely use it, but if you want to follow me, it's Doc Chris Mueller over there.
Okay. And Joe Asian.
Wow. You can find me on my social medias at _Asian Joe. And then that's about really it. I have some other little side things I do, but all the links for that.
Plug your serial review.
My serial review, the Serial Isle blog is linked in my bios of Twitter and Instagram. So if you find me on those places, you'll find the link.
Fair enough. And you can find me here at the Mark Order Podcast every Wednesday at 10:15. We cover all things All Elite, which if you're listening to this, you probably know. I'd also encourage you to follow us on all socials at Mark Order Pod. And finally, to cover one of my side projects, my blog on history topics. Quick reads on history at hereforhistory.com. So, and you can also find me on Twitter, because I'm not calling it anything else, at _hereforhistory. And for Joe and for Doc, I'm going to say good night. And oh, wait. Ant's gonna kill me if I don't have the outro ready. He'll kill me if I don't have an outro. It's just he's very particular. All right, so thanks everyone.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join